Please start by honoring our country with the national anthem.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd just like to start today by I think saying with the events of yesterday being an election day that my gratitude, and I think I'll speak for the council on that issue, that everybody that joined in a race and put themselves out there to better serve their community should be applauded, and I have a lot of respect for that. Win or lose, I think it's time that we all come together, and hopefully we will, and work for the betterment not only of our county, but for especially on the state level and a national level, that our country continues to grow and keep the values that we have and continue to be progressive. So I want to appreciate everybody that took that step forward, encourage people to continue to have that volunteerism. So, with that being said, our first item on the agenda today says Jenni, Fulk, and Lindsay Grossnick. I'm going to assume that our esteemed prosecutor is here to cover both issues. So if you could come forward and introduce yourself, tell us who you're with.
Thank you, Mr. President. The ladies that I work for couldn't be here today, so I'm here in their stead. Certainly share your sentiment of congratulating everybody that had a victorious evening last night. Congratulations to you all. You're stuck with me for the next 4 years.
Yeah, we noticed.
So, duly noted, yeah. I am before you today, as you all know, part of the responsibility of the prosecutor is overseeing civil forfeitures that take place relative to criminal action. So in other words, when we catch a drug dealer, catch a bad guy or bad gal, a lot of times we ask the court for permission to seize the proceeds of illegal drug activity or illegal activity in general, actually. Most of the time it manifests itself in the drug culture, where we'll conduct an arrest or a raid, and we'll seize some portion of the cash or the real estate or the vehicles associated with that transaction. In 2018, the legislature made a significant change to our forfeiture statute, a change, in my opinion, that is ultimately beneficial to the prosecutors and to the county. And one of those changes, really, the principal change, was to make it easier for us to move through the process. However, in doing so, one of the things that they did under the Indiana Code 342412 was to require prosecutors to establish a separate and distinct by ordinance forfeiture fund. In essence, a non-reverting fund. We had to come before the council and propose an ordinance, which is what I'm here to advocate for today. I think as much in terms of transparency and clarity for the public as anything, which is both laudable goals and good things. But in essence, when we do seize these monies and when a court approves those monies being forfeit to the state of Indiana, we have to delineate a separate and distinct fund for those monies to be placed into. And the statute sets forth the way we distribute those funds and how we expend them and how counties and prosecutors can expend funds. But specifically, they say that the forfeiture fund established by the prosecuting attorney to offset expenses incurred in connection with the investigation and prosecution of these actions. So what I'm asking for your permission and approval for today is an approval for an ordinance that establishes this forfeiture fund. So when we do seize money from bad guys and bad gals, we have a place to put it, and ultimately makes us accountable both to you and to the general public, and that's a good thing. So that's what I'm here today, generally speaking, to ask your permission for. I believe you should have a copy of that ordinance in the material, and that's the purpose. So I'll entertain any questions from the body.
I understand that for you to spend money out of that fund, you have to get the council approval.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. I mean, I think our position has always been that you got to come back and you got to ask. It's a good way to be. I don't think it would serve the public interest if they knew about the fund and then I could just do with it as I will.
I just want to turn it up. I just do.
Sure. No, and that's That's how I view it.
Then we would also know how much money's in that fund?
Absolutely, yeah. No, it is non-reverting, I will say that, because the statute sets out specifically how the money can be used and in what percentages it can be used. But yes, yeah, the allocations are set forth in the statute. The fund is public record. You'll have the ability to see it at any time.
What are some of the things, DJ, that the community has benefited from in the past with those type of accounts that come in, those monies that come in?
Sure, boy, it'd be easier. I think it's almost easier to say what in the law enforcement world they don't add to. We have used it throughout the years for personnel. We have used it for equipment. Generally speaking, I prefer to use things. I prefer to use those monies for hard goods that we can use on a recurring basis that have value. Not that personnel certainly don't have value, but everything from cameras in police vehicles, body cameras for law enforcement officers, drug interdiction training for law enforcement officers, all of those things. And one of the things we don't do, and I have inherited and I feel is correct, is we don't buy weapons. That's, I think, a function of the municipality and the county and those agencies to fund those particular purchases, but training relative to interdiction and prevention here in this county and across northeastern Indiana. So those are some.
Would that include something like computers for in their cars and stuff like that? Or?
It could, conceivably. It could. Now, I will say that the amount of monies that we receive from forfeiture are pretty small. I think Marion County had something dollars in terms of the forfeitures they did. I would say that right now, to date in 2018, we are well under the $50,000. Some of those monies, candidly, have to be shared with the federal government, depending on whether or not the federal government was involved in the seizure of those funds. So, but I would say it's less than $50,000.
Yeah, it's interesting.
But that's still money that's available that you use to help lessen the tax burden on everybody that lives in Whitley County. It's the bad guys' money helping to keep the tax base low.
Absolutely. We laugh and joke about the stickers on some of the police cars that we see in southern Indiana that say bought by your drug dealer, bought by your local drug dealer. And so while we haven't purchased cars with that, there's any number of pieces of equipment, both in the city and the county and Cherubusco and South Whitley, that you drug interdiction, absolutely.
Good.
Just got an ordinance numbered.
Yeah, that'd be ordinance 2018-08.
I make a motion we approve the ordinance.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? This time we'll go to a vote. All those in favor, please.
I have one question.
Yes, sir.
Under this ordinance on the spelling of the ordinance down into the second paragraph, is that correct?
That I don't have in front of me, Councilman.
What's the question, John?
Just double in.
Ordinance
I got it, sir.
Second paragraph.
Yes, sir. If we submitted that, I will blame somebody on my staff for doing that and have to accept it.
Where's it at, John?
In the title.
Yeah. It's the first title.
In an unrelated story, we're going to be looking for an office manager in the prosecutor.
It was me.
So I would entertain a motion to accept it with that correction.
Under the tutelage of John Whitley, I used to get police reports back with red ink all over them on misspellings on it, so it's just kind of a payback.
Councilman, if you receive tutelage from John Whiteleather, I'd urge you to get some kind of medical counseling. We have some resources available.
I have nothing further.
Jim, would you amend your motion to include that correction?
Yes.
And Glenn?
Yes.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll go to vote. All those in favor, please respond by raising your right hand. And those opposed, the same. And let it be shown that it was passed unanimously with all board members present.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate it. Have a good morning.
Okay, so then we still have
We had another one.
the additional appropriation.
That was for the aforementioned counseling for Councilman Barrett, actually. No, we have requested an additional appropriation transfer within. It's not additional monies, but transfers within. The reason for that, as many of you may know, we have we had a caseworker leave the employment, 4D child support caseworker leave the employment of the prosecutor's office. She resigned. We have since replaced her. But what we discovered when we were cleaning out her office is that it required some pretty substantial cleaning, actually. One of the things that we did was we put in some new carpet and removed some old cabinetry, some pretty basic things. What I want to point out is that $3,000 was allocated within our budget, but that's 4D incentive money. That's not county general fund money. That's not a taxpayer, a local taxpayer expense. That is money, that is federal government money that we have received for the work, the exemplary work the division does in collecting delinquent child support. So we're simply asking you to reallocate that money within our budget so that we can continue forward with those construction costs. And I'm happy to entertain these questions.
Where's that money coming from?
It's coming from our federal 4D reimbursement funds.
So it's not tax dollars?
No, sir. Well, it's all tax dollars, I'm assuming, but it's not local tax dollars. These are monies that we receive again because of the exemplary work that they do. I'd love to take credit for it, but it's been doing that for 25 years now.
And call for a
I make a motion we approve the additional appropriation resolution for $3,000.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please respond by raising your right hand. And those opposed, the same. And let it be shown it was passed unanimously with all board members present.
Thank you very much. I promise not to come back after your anymore. Thank you.
I'm sure you'll be back.
I'm sure I will.
Next on the agenda is Mark Sturtevant, please.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I go up with the speaker as DJ, but I'll do my best. Two things. I'm asking for a request to transfer funds from my part-time account to cover the shortfall under maintenance manager and assistant maintenance position for the payroll. I understand it's short this year.
What's that amount?
$13.
$13?
Mark, that was the same series transfer, so that one doesn't require there.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Okay. The second is, and I didn't get a copy of the new one. There's, presume Janet has that in front of her. Again, I understand some of the projects that were approved earlier in the year, the funds are no longer there, so I'm asking for a transfer from computer software to QCAP building maintenance in the amount of $20,000, and from equipment to the QCAP building maintenance of $30,000 for the remainder of the repairs that are in progress yet this year.
What projects are those yet, Mark, that we need to cover?
We have a final invoice for the remainder of, not the remainder, but the allotment for the heat pumps at the courthouse, $1,235. We have the interior jail rec area and exterior restoration payment of $258. We have building that was added. There's this government center urgent repairs I'm asking for $2,573 to take care of some caulking that should be taken care of before winter. And then the final chiller payment is $801 on the jail. I'm holding that payment until they finish some follow-up work.
Mark, barring any emergencies, this will take care of the rest of the year for any maintenance projects that's
Yes, sir.
for 2018.
Yes.
Through the rest of the year, this won't short these funds.
Yes.
If you have something in software you have to do or equipment, you're gonna have money, where you're transferring this from, is you're gonna,
The computer software and equipment.
yeah, that, you're gonna hurt that in case we have a problem.
No.
So here's the tough question for you, putting you on the spot. Why do we have $50,000 available in those two line items in your budget to transform for that?
That was the
It's
rest of
not
my
his budget.
question.
Though that's not in his budget?
It's cum cap, so it's really something that you guys, he's asking because it's for his projects.
So the
He
computer,
wants it to come out of
so
cum
these
cap.
are not his
Yes,
line
well, you guys
items?
approved it to come out of cum cap already, but because of all the projects that have been approved, it has put building maintenance in the red, and we haven't had any projects to expense out of those appropriations, so there's enough money to transfer to building maintenance to cover his projects that he's asking, that he's already asked for and has been approved. So if that makes sense.
Mark, I quickly went through this, your numbers you gave us in my head. That comes up to $37,869, so $40,000 would probably do it. Huh?
Yes. $20 and $30.
Does he need that in cum cap to be used?
He sent me a revised email. I don't know if this is it.
$37,867.
And why is because it was already overexpensed by $4,000. So I transferred enough just to cover what it was negative already and the rest of his projects. That's why it's that number. And if we had anything else come up through the rest of the year, it was covered and you guys wouldn't have to do another transfer.
What's the council's wish on this item?
Something that's going to be needed, right, Mark?
Okay,
I
good.
mean, you need it.
Contracts have been signed already.
Yeah, we need to
This
do
was-
it.
These were approved at the beginning of the year.
Right.
Just
So,
funding it.
I make a motion that we allow him to, or allow to come out of cum cap to pay for it.
I second.
A motion, a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please respond by raising your right hand. And all those opposed, the same. Let it be shown as passed unanimously with all board members present.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is the one you need to sign.
Yeah.
Nathan Bilger, please.
Good morning. Again, I'm not as eloquent as DJ was, but I'm here before you for two requests. One is a transfer resolution, and the other is an additional appropriation request from the general fund. As you probably know, our legal counsel has been putting in a lot of extra work for a couple court cases and also some ordinance amendments that we were working on this year that just got passed. That has put the professional services fund into the red for us. By Jano, do you know what the current figure is? Professional services. We had originally asked for the year $3,500, and last time we were just over $7,500.
You are over $6,490 a month.
Over. Okay. So that would be So what we are requesting to do is the transfer resolution is transferring from the salary category. We have several line items in there that have extra funds due to one position being open for 2.5 months and the other being partially was on FMLA for a while, so there's unpaid funds in there. And then our plan commission BZA fund as well, because they don't meet every month. There's some extra in there. So that grand total comes to be about $8,000 that we're requesting from the salary. That, in addition to the original $3,500 appropriation, would cover our current expenses. However, because we still have November and December to go, that's where the $3,500 additional appropriation comes in, that just to cover anything that still is outstanding for the rest of the year. And I would actually request that be encumbered as well, going into 2019, to make sure that we can cover anything that would still be lingering from 2018. So, grand total then, for the line item appropriation would be $15,000, between $8,000 transferred, $3,500 original, and $3,500 new appropriation. So, you've got questions for me. I guess one other thing, just to add in another factor, some of the professional services were actually city expenses, and also expenses that were directly reimbursed by customers. So city expenses, it's about $2,000 that we're getting reimbursed directly from the city, and about 370 that were directly reimbursed from the customer. So that somewhat offsets the
Okay, so we have an additional appropriation of $3,500 and then a transfer resolution for $8,000. I'll call for a motion.
You want to tackle them both in the same motion, or?
Well, let's do separate motions, please. We'll start with the transfer resolution of $8,000.
Well, I'll move that we approve the transfer resolution for $8,000.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please respond by raising your right hand. Those opposed, the same, and let it be shown it was passed unanimously with all board members present. Now we'll move forward to the additional appropriation in the amount of $3,500, please. Call for motion.
I move we approve it, the transfer of the additional appropriation. I'll get it out in a minute.
I have a motion. I'll call for a second, please.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please respond by raising your right hand. And those opposed, the same. Let it be shown as passed unanimously with all board members present.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan. We appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah, we do.
Next item on the agenda is new to the agenda. We didn't have anything else?
Other transfers, but let's do.
Okay. Sheriff Gatton, please.
Morning.
Good morning.
Under recent light, I found out talking with Jana the way we used to do things when we get federal grant money for the bulletproof vest needed to be done a different way. So Jana has informed me that I need to come to you, and she also needs to start a new fund for federal money. What I'm coming and asking for is $4,345 back into the commissary account that I already paid for vests that were going to expire earlier this year, but the grant came through. So that's what I'm requesting back. In the past, we would just fill out and get the reimbursement from them, and then that's when Jana found out that we needed to do it a different way.
So the reimbursement came to us, and you want that back into your account? Is that correct?
Yes.
Yep, and you've got that money?
Well, yeah, we've already received the funds from the Department of Justice.
Yeah.
So we just need to receipt them into this fund. Talking to the State Board of Accounts, we don't need to, it's a home ruled fund, so I don't need permission to establish it. It's for a grant. So State Board of Accounts told me that I don't need need any approval for that, and that it doesn't have to go through the normal additional appropriation process because it's for a reimbursement grant. So, I guess it's your guys' approval just to appropriate the funds of the amount of the grant so we can pay them back to commissary. That's all that's needed.
I move we approve that request.
I'll second.
A motion to second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll go to a vote. All those in favor, please respond by raising your right hand. And those opposed, the same. Let it be shown it was passed unanimously with all board members present.
Thank you.
Did everybody get in your packet, just for informational, the updated longevity pay schedule that was dispersed? If you would please, if there's any questions about that. It's just a matter of housekeeping due to some employment changes. Next, we have an additional appropriation resolution from, it's going to come from the rainy day fund to go to sick pay. Is that what I'm seeing?
Yes.
Or,
And 11,000 capital outlays.
and 11,000 to capital outlays for a total of 31,000 to be transferred out of the rainy day fund. And those are to cover shortages.
Yes, there was nothing appropriated for any day for this year, so we had a couple of people leave and we had to pay them out. And they had their PTO time, and then we also had a vehicle get totaled. Yeah, the escape, I'm sorry. And yes, the portion to cover that also came out of cum cap, or I'm sorry, rainy day, so.
What was the capital outlay for?
Capital outlay, it was to cover the escape when it got totaled, to help purchase a new one. I believe, yeah, because it was the city.
I can't remember who had the escape.
Planning and building.
Oh, that's right.
Now, what kind of shape is our capital fund out of? Or in?
I'm sorry, I said it wrong, it's rainy day. It has $73,350 in it right now, so there's enough funds to cover this.
Instead of the rainy day?
Yep.
Okay. So we're going to take it out of...
Right.
I move that we approve.
I have a motion. Call for a second.
Make a motion, we do the additional appropriation resolution for $31,000.
I had a motion, Councilman, is that a second? John, I had a motion, is that a second?
Second.
Yes, thank you, sir. I have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? At this time, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor, please respond by raising your right hand. And those opposed, the same. Let it be shown it passed unanimously with all members present.
I do have a question before we move on that. That vehicle, did we receive any money from the insurance company on that?
Yeah, $14,000 and it was valued at $8,000.
So the 11,000 is, when we went and got another one, that was how much we needed to.
Yeah, we got a great deal. I think it was like $23,000 is all we paid for a new.
Another escape.
Yeah. New escapes are a lot smaller than the original.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman.
The next transfer resolutions, we have two of them. They're both from Circuit Court. They're requesting a transfer of $1,690 out of their insurance and $2,900 out of technology to put towards their Chin's pauper attorney. We'll just tackle that one first.
I mean, they run out of funds in the pauper attorney account.
It's a,
It's
From the looks of it, it's at Chin's Pauper Attorney, and I believe in the past they've talked about Chin's attorney having to do with meth houses and additional children, and they have to appoint an attorney for the children and different things along those lines.
I just don't get why we have so many pauper attorney bills and when we have the type of economy we have and people are working. It just looks like people ought to have jobs and be able to pay some of their own legal expense.
Unfortunately, most of the people that get in that situation
don't work.
Yeah.
I think DJ or Prosecutor has shared with us in the past that they do go to lengths to recuperate some of that money and to follow those accounts, follow those people to try to recuperate it. So I think that they're being responsible and working towards it. But I mean, I think this is a $4,700 is not that great of an amount for what they're doing for our community.
You'd be even more aware of that than we are.
Yeah.
Make a motion, we approve the transfer resolution from Circuit Court involving Chin's Pauper Attorney and Insurance Technology.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor, please respond by raising your right hand. And those opposed, the same. Let it be shown as passed unanimously with all board members present. And then the second transfer resolution is also for Circuit Court, transferring $400 from professional services to supplies.
The supplies category all gone. They've already spent all their supplies money.
And that's a grant as well, so it,
I just wonder, we still got a couple more months if they got, if that's enough money to get them through to transfer 400, or is that all they got in that account?
I move we approve the transfer.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor, please respond by raising your right hand, and those opposed, the same. Let it be shown as passed unanimously with all board members present. Is that all you have? George, you have a report for us, please.
Sure. It may look like we're not doing much because we haven't been, I don't have a lot to report here, but one thing I do want to bring forward, that we're still looking at a lot of long-term projects like the jail overcrowding. A lot of good things going on with that. It's going a little bit slower than we expected that it would, but got a lot of opportunities and that we're exploring right now, and including mental health issues, that dealing with the mental health at the same time. I do want to report DCS has agreed to our contract. They'd like to take over the whole building, the annex building, and we've offered them $8 a square foot at 6,000 square foot, which is going to be $4,800 that they'll have to pay. Plus, we're going to have to do some remodeling in there for them at $120,000, and so we're charging them $1,000 a month additional for that remodeling to recoup that remodeling cost. So we're at $6,000, right at $6,000 a month that we're going to be able to get for rent for the annex building. And as far as extension is concerned, we've got some good opportunities for that right now, and I can't really say too much about it, but I think everything is going to work out with extension and with DCS being able to expand into that annex building. And I will send a contract to everyone so that you can see the contract, but I think it's good for us. Right now we're getting $2,300 a month from DCS. So it'd be quite a bit more that we'll be receiving from the state.
Does that change yearly, George, the amount we get?
No.
Where will that money come from, about 120 to do the remodeling?
Probably going to have to ask for it from CEDIC, to come from CEDIC.
And then as we take that money back in monthly on the rent?
That'll go to County General. Because normally CEDIC isn't something that it's not for investment.
Will we be in a position next year that we could do that out of County General?
I would hope so. That'd be great if we could.
Jenna, what's our general fund balance right now over and above what we already budgeted?
What is, like, you want to know the cash balance, or you want to know the remaining appropriation balance?
Both.
Cash balance is $1,077,515 as of today, and remaining appropriations for the rest of the year, as of right now, unexpended, it's $1,821,414.06.
Okay.
So
we're short.
We still have December settlement, and that'll be around.
We still got one settlement coming.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
$1 million, so we're over $1 million to the good then.
Yes.
Do we have any kind of a rough estimate of what that next settlement will be?
What it will be?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I also get lit, as you know, monthly too, so. Okay, County General got $1,609,631.79
He's writing
in
it.
June, so that's probably about what we'll get in December. Plus, we also got the $221,000 additional in excise, so that all goes to County General.
So we should be closer to $2 million.
Mm-hmm.
Have we got any indication back next year on our projected budget from next year on?
I know they're working on it. They are working on giving us our 1782 notices, but we have not received anything yet.
Okay.
I believe you should receive an email when we get it, and George should as well. So you'll know.
So we have options. That's good.
Yeah, it's real good. And we would like to not use CEDIC funds if possible, but
looks like we shouldn't have to.
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't borrow those numbers, but quickly, we should have enough money in the general fund to cover that.
so it's a 2-year payback on that.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Thanks for your work with that project. I know it's been ongoing. It hasn't been easy.
yeah, it's worked out. It's really it's been a good project. And right now, I think that's about it that I have to report to you. We got a lot of good things going on, but nothing to report yet.
Great. Any questions?
Any progress on the Whitley County Sewer District?
Sewer District is, they got their charter, and their next meeting will be the 20th. And then they'll start with their projects, getting the projects ready and getting funding, or they're going to have funding for the engineering process and design. And I think Churubusco is the first. There are two programs that they've got going there, or projects that they've got going north and south there.
Okay. How many people's on that board?
5.
You appoint one of them, don't you? Or
Yeah, we appoint 3, I think.
Oh,
No,
3.
2 on
I
that.
thought the paper said the county council appointed somebody, but I don't recall we ever appointed anybody.
I don't either.
The appointments from commissioners, one from council.
Call it either.
Who's the council's appointment?
You need
I
to
don't
ask
know.
Lana.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure on that. Don's been taking care of that. He's done a good job on that, following through.
Did we appoint somebody? I don't recall we ever did.
I don't think we did.
I'll have to check.
Well, it would be coming up in, for us to address in January then, so. No?
I actually talked to George about that. If you guys are okay with that, I'm going to do appointments and committees in December. I'm going to give you the paperwork. Is that okay, rather than wait until January?
No, we're probably going to need to do it in January.
January, because we'll have 2 new members.
Well, we'll have to have the information for that.
Yeah.
To know what we're going to do in January.
We can easily get a list of the board members for the regional sewer district, though. All we need to do is, Lana is amazing, and she will get you any information you need in regard to the specifics of the charter and
Is it possible
board of
to,
trustees.
is it possible, Jenna, for you to identify and bring us a list at the next meeting on all active appointments that the council has, so we can review those in January?
Yep.
That'd be great.
The commissioners too.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you for that. Any other questions? Okay.
I move we approve the minutes as written.
Well, thank you. You read my mind. Appreciate that. We have a second?
I'll second it.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? We'll go to a vote. All those in favor of approving the minutes, please respond by raising your right hand. And are you a yes on that, Jim?
Yeah.
Okay. And those opposed, the same. And the minutes passed 6-0. I abstained, as I was not here. All right. Anyone left in the audience that is here for business or has any information for the good of the cause?
That would be me.
Come forward.
We don't have time.
Please introduce yourself and tell us who you're
We just
with.
want to know if you had anything to say. We just don't
I
have
always have
time.
something to say. I am Paul Ward.
Bless your heart.
I'm the Director of Community Corrections, and first I just want to thank all of you for serving as elected officials or being willing to serve as elected official, as I know it's a thankless job at times, but I appreciate all of you, and thank you for all the wonderful work you're doing with our facility and everything you've done for the years, both of you, for Community Corrections. Just wanted to see if there are any questions about the kind of craziness that occurred last month at council. First of all, the report that I sent you did not require a vote. It was just an information for you. It's a report I sent to the Department of Corrections. Just wanted you to have that information. And then the budget stuff. I don't know, Jana, could you talk about that at all? Why the budget, the additional appropriations to this budget, you had already approved some time ago. The State Board of Accounts just asked Janet to divide by 6 months versus how we initially had it approved. So it was an additional money, because I'm sure that was confusing and crazy, and it's the first time we've ever been asked to do that. Other than that, things are busy at our facility. We're really struggling with recruiting and retaining qualified part-time people for the residential is definitely creating a hardship to overall operations. So I'm going to meet with my executive team tomorrow and see if there's any way we can reduce some part-time positions and start adding maybe just a full-time position. Maybe not one this year and not one next year.
Hope to keep some.
Is there, and I know this has been brought up, but is there any way to go back and review the opportunity to let current county employees work on a part-time basis for Paula?
Oh, I missed the question, sorry.
Where we used to be able to hire like sheriff's department people or other people in the county that were already trained to work for our facility at a rate that was set by council. We didn't exceed the part-time. But something changed, and I think it was when, I don't know, when Paula was county coordinator, that we had to actually pay them the average of their salary and our part-time, which ended up being like 35. Can't support that.
It affects their overtime pay. So if they go into
Anything
once
over
they
40.
go, yes, their average hour is going to be what they make as a full-time person, including what they make as a part-time person. So it's also going to affect, say, the sheriff's department budget, because now their overall salary dollar amount has increased by what they're making as a part-time person as well. That's probably where it comes into play.
Is there any waiver that someone could agree to hold that part-time employment that would be legal? No.
There wouldn't be.
Well, I'm trying to find you
Thank you, I
people.
appreciate that. I just want you to, I'm not telling you anything.
Because I know there's people that want to work
Oh,
for
yeah,
you.
yeah, they do.
Yeah.
And they have the qualifications, so we don't
Yeah.
invest all that training, then turn around and lose them, 60 days after we hire them. Basically, for me to hire a residential shift supervisor, the base salary in 219 is going to be $39,000, but then when I have to raise all the benefits, it's about $62,000. So those are numbers I'm going to present to my exec board tomorrow, see if there's any way we can just cut. There's some positions that are assigned to other facility. I'm willing, if they become vacant, just to not fill them for a while, because I feel like the priority has to be in that 24/7 facility. Make sure that we have the staff there for safety and security. But thank all of you. I'll keep updated, and obviously that's not money I'm going to be coming to you for, but it's just money I'm going to see what I can do with the grants and project income. I'm sure we can come up with a solution.
I'd like to thank you as well for all your communications and keeping us pretty well informed.
And I would like to congratulate Paula and her staff, because 2 weeks ago, DOC came in and did an audit, and they got a 97 on their audit, which is tremendous.
That's good.
Pretty proud of our staff. They put a lot of time in preparing for that. Jenni came over for our fiscal audit last week, and that went well. I don't have the official report, but there was no findings, and simplifying that process a little bit. Thank you. George took time to come to meet the DOC auditor, which I don't think that happens in a lot of counties.
Thank you, Paula.
Thank you, Paula.
Anyone else? Nope. Okay. Councilman Barrett?
No, I just want to recognize all the veterans coming up on Veterans Day on Sunday, and thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service.
Yes.
Councilman Overdeer? Councilman Damon? Councilman LaRue?
No, thank you.
Councilman Reed? Councilman Banks?
I know
Vice Chair Banks?
I know you had said that this was for information only, the longevity pay, but we don't need to approve anything with.
We've already approved it.
changes?
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah, because there's already enough in the appropriation to cover that.
Okay.
So we're okay.
Okay.
That was just to let you guys know it has changed. I'm just trying to keep you in the loop.
Yeah, I just didn't know if we needed to approve the change. Okay.
Thank you.
And I have nothing. Do you have anything? Meeting is adjourned at, I'm sorry.
We can give you a partial list of the Board of Trustees for the Regional Sewer District. I just tried to call Lana and Scott Wagner.
Yeah, and I'm not sure who's been appointed from where, but Chad Nix, Randy Kokel, Don Amber, Walt Crowder, Frank Kessler, Brooks Langlow, and Todd Nichols.
That's what was in the newspaper, I think.
But we don't know which one our appointment is.
I'm not really sure. I'll check into that, but.
Yeah, because I think when we do appointments, those of us who are still going to be here in January, I think we need to review those and make a decision if we think our appointment is, come to a point where we want to reconsider it.
I don't know whoever appointed them first. I don't think we ever.
I don't think we did either.
That I remember of that.
Well, if it's tagged us, I think we need to identify that and make it
Official.
yeah.
George, does the city have somebody that's on that? Is Walt on that for the city, or is he just on there? Who's?
I really don't know. I truly
just
don't
curious.
know. I think each, like Randy Kokel represents South Whitley, and probably Walt is for Columbia City.
Okay.
Frank Cherubusco, and then Chad, Brooks, and Todd. Todd's one of the commissioner appointments. I know that, but I'm not sure. But I'll make sure you get information on that.
Meeting's adjourned.